Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Thursday, September the 2nd, and starting with the ASX on the 4-hour chart here. So, as you know, I'm having a little bit of difficulty with this particular pattern, and it's really coming from the banking side. So we're going to have a little bit of a look at that again. The main point here, I feel, is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So if we get 5 waves here, then we should get a rally back, a corrective rally back, which we have. This is in, it suits it better as 3 waves here. And this, I mean, I have to say this looks a bit impulsive here. And this one here looks corrective if we use that bar in through there. But if we get 5 waves here, we should get a correction back 50 or 60%, which we've got, okay? And then we should, because we've got 5 here after ABC, we should get another 5 down. So that's what I'm thinking. Obviously, the closest largest number is this minor level here, the 500. So you could only go long if that became the support. So from this low here to that high there, it has come down to the 61.8%. So it could move up from that point, but I wouldn't go long unless we had a bit of a classic trading levels pattern on that side there. So I don't really see, you know, I could get 5 waves out of this, but I'd just be squeezing it and move, you know, it'd just be forcing it, and which is not the right thing to do. So I just still have to say I'm a little bit unsure about this. So obviously the next support down is, you know, on these levels here, which is the 7450 area. So I'm just a little bit unsure. I don't know, you know, I mean, looking at this 5 waves here, it means that we should get another 5 waves over here. Yesterday I was also talking about this being a little bit over here, and this can also be occurring here as well. So we actually get an A wave to here, an A, B and C wave coming down here. So Thursday can normally be like a bit of a bear day in a market, and then have 5 waves up and then come down like that. So there's all that sort of stuff. So I think that obviously we need to sort the banks out, having a sort of look at those. But there's the nicest, if I can just go to the banking side now, the nicest count I can get, probably Macquarie's have got a good count as well. I'll need to double check that. But this here is the Bank of Queensland, and it's a daily chart. Let's get that out of the way. So it counts really quite nicely here, actually, as a wave 1 and 2 over here. A bit complicated for wave 2. That means that wave 4 up here, when we go from 3 to 4 over here, will be rather simple. So we can count up as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2, and I'm just using all that as wave 3 here, and a 4 over here, and then a 5. And this is the bit that sort of interests me here a little bit, because we know that, you know, we know that, well, in this case here, we could count this as 1 and 2 and 3 up here and back for 4 and going up for 5 here. There's a good case for this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I'm just going to keep a little bit of an eye on it. So it could just fail from this particular point, and we'll need to look at that as the 5 waves. But the point here is that this market, when it moved down, hasn't overlapped this wave 1 here in the first leg. So it's still possible this is wave 4 in here. And of course, this is also, this little pattern here is the same as we've been looking with the AXJO, which is the banking sector. So it's got that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here, and can push up from that point to wave 5. But CBA has come down and overlapped this top here. And the XFJ as well, we've been looking at as well, which is the finance sector. That's the wrong one. XFJ. Always think of the car when I do that. So they're first Holdens. So yeah, so it's the same here as well. But so when we have a look at CBA on this, I'm just using this charting program because it's quick. We can see that this move down here has really overlapped this. So I think that you know, I'm thinking that this is some sort of A wave here, B wave here, and C wave down here. We could just go up from this point, but I don't have any evidence of that. I mean, I'll look at this on the tick chart, which we can do today, but I still don't really get any answers out of it. It certainly looks corrective and that we should be dropping down further. I mean, the ANZ one is kind of interesting because it has moved down from that consolidation pattern there, you know. But the trouble with this particular market, though, is that it's never really made a high here for this, you know, above this high. So it's a bit difficult to call it a wave 5 if it hasn't even got to the top here and it hasn't really produced a clear 5 wave pattern here. So, yeah, a bit of a rock and a hard place. In fact, I've been looking at this a little bit differently, actually. I've also been looking at this as an A wave here, B wave here, C wave here, D wave here, and E wave here. So basically a triangle pattern here and then moving up. So when we have a look at, let's just go and have a look at that for a moment on the, where is it, ANZ here. So this is just a tick chart for ANZ, 100 ticks. So wave 3 up. So we've got a clear 3 waves here. And if you've got a keen eye, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be the sort of A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So that's in 3 waves. This is highly likely to be in 3 waves here as well, which is just a really mirror image of what's going on over here for this. So I think it counts quite nicely as an A, B, C, D, and E here. I feel sort of comfortable with it, but I still need evidence that we're actually going to push up from here. I can see from B to C here, there's also a little 5-wave structure in here. So we could be on the case. So let's just see how it goes. You know, we'll keep an eye on it. This is where I'm up to so far, and it could be totally wrong. I'm not sure just yet about all of this anyway. When we have a look at CBA, which we will now on the tick chart. So down from the top here, if I had to count it, you know, like hard and fast, because that's the top there, I'd have to look at that as 1 and 2 over here, and then I'd look at all that down there as 3. So it does count quite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th and 5th. I can't see inside of that. But then this would be the 4th wave over here. It hasn't quite pulled back to the 38.2%, so it still could be over there, or we could be finished here, but I don't have a nice clear 5 waves down here. I know we've got 1, 2 in there, and 3 and 4 and 5, so that makes like a impulse wave, corrective wave, and impulse wave. So to me, that's like a wave B there, and we still need to come up for wave C at that point, and then drop down to get one more low here. I've gone through this here. To me, it just feels corrective. You know, to get an impulse wave out of that, sure, I can see little impulse waves where you're pushing from this low here, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So we could look at that as an impulse. We could also look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. So we've got, well, maybe we've got an A here and a B here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, but this is overlapping heavily with this one, and so on and so on. So it's, tricky little sucker, and I'm just going to have to leave it. I still don't have any answers for it. You know, I'm just moving into the guessing game a little bit, but it's okay to discuss ideas. Trading them is another thing. So we haven't really left the 100 here just yet. So more work to be done on the banks. Okay. And yeah, so let's just have a look at that's something else. So we want to wanted to have a look at India. India is still moving nicely there. We expect it to spend a little bit of time at 17,000, and that would be like, if this is all 1 and 2, and that'll be 3, and this will be 4, and that'll be 5. So we'll push it a little bit higher. We might be able to get up to 17,300 or something, 17,300 or 500 or something like that. And China was still, it's made a new low here. I suppose we may be able to get 5 waves out of that. That's for the China A50. So obviously, you know, it's a top 50 stock. So, you know, they're being hammered in on the New York desk, and the CCP are moving onto the boards of, you know, TikTok and all of these sorts of things. So they don't sort of, you know, they just want to rein them in, you know, I guess. Don't want them becoming all powerful as such. So yeah, I kind of understand it to a point, but I don't know. Anyway, life is tricky, and so is politics, I guess. So I will have a look at let's go to, just want to have a look at the comp, because we've been looking at the comp. So this is the Shanghai comp, and we've been looking, in a bit of a nutshell, we've been looking, just bring this back in here a little bit. So we were looking at, bring that up. Yeah, so we looked at all of this being, this is doing something completely different than the A50, of course. So we're looking at all of this as being bullish, and we can see this is a little bit tricky here, but basically a corrective pattern. And the thing that sets it on fire for me is that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, then a pullback into the 50-60%, and now we're taking out the top. Yes, it could be an A wave and a B wave and a C wave, and we still get a bit more tricky, but we are seeing that nice volume come in and pushing, you know, further up into this space up here for that. So yeah, the A50 is something, is, you know, it's just a sector, tech sector, that's being picked on. I don't know about picked on, controlled, I don't know, modified, whatever. Anyway, that's that. So the iron ore still got a little bit further to go down. So just on the daily chart for the iron ore here, we're looking at this as the A wave and ABC for the B wave, down for 1 here, back for 2 here. And the wave 2 was complicated, so wave 4 should be simple, which it is, and we're looking for 5 waves to move down there. But we still haven't got a low below this one here just yet, so we'll just go to the tick chart and just keep a little bit of an eye on this. So I don't know how much we need in here. So yeah, so bring this back over here a little bit. So we've got wave 3 here with an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4. Can't get away with dyslexia, so I'll just have to say I'm stupid. And so we're looking down here as 1 and 2, and I probably really need to count this, but you know, when you come through a level, you normally go back and test the supply anyway. So we're not there yet, but if this means a lot to you, we need to pull this apart a little bit. I can see this is definitely the third wave in the middle here. Third wave. Oh, we'd be pretty close. Yeah, I think we're pretty close. Pretty close. I think we can just do that. So we should have here something like this, maybe the 720. It's always a nice number, the 72, and then a move up. So I will be interested in it when it gets a nice tested support on top of the trading level 8 here, major level. So that's it's kind of interesting because you know, BHP and those guys, we need those to come down. But before we have a look at those, I want to go to copper. Dr. Copper. So just on the daily chart here, we're looking for wave A, B, and we've got wave C in there for wave 4, pulling back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. We've been looking at this as wave 1 to the upside, and now we're looking for wave 2 to pull back into that space. So let's just go to the, I think we're on the 4-hour chart. Still not enough detail there, but let me just do a few houseworky things. We'll have a closer look at the structure. I mean, what I'm trying to get across here in my own weird way is that with copper pulling down and iron ore pulling down, then BHP and that will be doing much the same as well in that case. So I think we're on the hourly chart here. This is where we've been keeping our count. So yesterday we were looking for this to finish off here, so that's finished and turned nicely. So yeah, I'll have to scratch my head about this one as though, but yeah, we need to change this, don't we? So I can put those over there, and we'll need to put this wave 1 there. It does mean that I'll need to change these all these little dudes as well, but anyway, for the time being it's fine. The main point here is that we are looking for a simple zigzag that will take us, which is zigzags of 5-3-5 structure that will take us back here somewhere. And we'll track that in more so in its later stages here too, because we want to get BHP in that ride as well. So we want this to land. We want a little impulse wave like this to the upside and a pullback, and then we can start to move in on it at that point. Don't need that there now. Leave that one there. That's all good. So yeah, it's hit the midpoint, 5 second strongest number coming back. It will always be a bounce off group 1, number 3, but we should see it bounce back. That was probably a little fourth. Let me see that. Probably something like that. I'm really just guessing here. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, just give a bit of a skeleton of a pretty picture, and yeah. So that will lead us. I'll better have a look at crude. Yeah, so as you know, with crude here, you can just pick it up on our website, but we'll just keep a bit of an eye on it as well. We could see that it was softening and rolling at the top there into the 61.8. We've got 2 targets there. Probably a little bit impulsive at this point. So anyway, we'll check it. We'll just give it a few more days, and then we'll pull it apart on the what's on. But we really just have 3 waves here. That's the problem with this. So we may get this yeah, anyway, we'll need to check. I haven't checked it on the tick chart, so just look at the charts on our website. But got to have a quick look at gold while we're here. The gold, so what I've done here is I'm just sort of going into the guessing game a little bit. So we've got wave A or wave 1 over here for this. We've got this here. We could also have another building process, but I'm just focused on this little bit here and the levels here. So we've got minor level 8. And then we've got group 1 above that, which is subgroup, so 10, 20, and 30. If we get support on top of 30, then we're not coming back here, but we'd need a little classic trading levels pattern sitting on that. So we'd need something like that, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, this, and then that. So that's the pattern that we would need. Once that gets triggered right here, then we know that we're not going back to the 18 again and we're going higher. If we were going higher, and this is a pretty dodgy count here because wave 4 overlaps wave 1, and there's probably other ways to look at it. You could go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and a whole lot of other things, but we have counted 5 waves up here. We have counted 5 waves up here. This is corrective, and then this little move here, this may be part of wave 4 over here continuing, but this is a really long shot, and don't throw stuff at me, but we've got this wave 1 with a little corrective move here, wave 3 with an ABC for 4 here and 5 here. So it may be possible to look at that as wave 1 and 2 there. It does look a little bit impulsive to the downside here, so we'll probably get another little move down through here, but that looks impulsive to the upside. But that has already rallied. If we take that high and that low, that's rallied to the supply zone here, the 61.8%. So you could go long from that point. You're probably long in here from yesterday anyway, but just repeating this for other folks. So that's the 61.8%. We really wanted to stay above that 1810 there for that. So I think we should be pushing higher on this because this move here quite simply is corrective. It's not 5 waves to the downside. So because it's corrective, we should be taking out that high. So me looking at this as a 5-wave move here is a bit of a long shot, like a long shot, but based on this being corrective, we should be moving higher. But the real prize is having the 1830 as the top of subgroup 1 as the tested support. So the classic trading levels pattern would play out as the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. It may even have an overshoot pattern where it just goes straight through. We don't really talk about that much. So the overshoot pattern is this one here where it doesn't stop at the level, but it peters out after a while and drops back down. And just as a bit of a thing, normally the distance above here will be the distance below that it drops. And it just really uses that level to balance out on eventually. But it's always the reference point highs and lows that you've got to look at to move back in with that. So yeah, you can see it didn't stop here. So the distance above is the distance below that it drops, roughly speaking. Take that with a pinch of salt as well. But yeah, so what we're looking for over here is, and then it's just that one there. That's what we're looking for. That, because once we get that, that separates us from being pulled back to this number. And that also would take us up into another, you know, and I mean, if that's 5 waves or 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, it's a build it one way or another. It's, you know, adding, because we've got 5 waves to this point here. So that means that after correction, we'll get another 5. It's just that this correction is really quite small here. So over to BHP and the like. So always look at the New York desk first, like the last closing price, so to speak. So as you know, we've been looking for wave 3 here with an A wave, a B wave and a C wave down for wave 4. We've been looking for the 38.2% retracement level. It appears to be in place. I haven't looked at this as a tick chart here, but it does look a little A, B and C here. It may get more complicated as well, but with iron ore moving down and copper moving down, we're hoping this will finish that off, finish the job, you know. And if it comes back below the medium level here, then we can climb back on and move on. We can go long again from these lows here, and that will be the same for most of the other ones in that basket. So the ASX here, yeah, so from B down to C here, we've been looking at 1, 2, 3 and 4, 38.2 blah 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 is there. We probably get away with putting that there, and then we can look at wave 5 coming down. Let's just get rid of that for a moment. We can look at wave 5 hopefully coming down to 43, should give a nice bounce, might go to 42.50 or something, and then we can look at building into this on this side over here for this. It's a bit sharp for a wave C, but so we'll have to keep an eye on it that it doesn't, we don't burn our fingers, so we'll be extra careful there. And Andrew's sideshow here, Fortescue, FMG, sorry, don't have it on the daily and all that just yet, but as you know, we've got this here as well, as wave A here, wave B here, and wave C coming down through here. This is a tick chart here, so we've got this down as the same as the other guys, 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave here, the 4th wave, and of course we want the 5th wave down here yonder, and that will give us also wave C down here, which will be here, and also wave 4 as well. And there it is in its shining glory there. So wave A here, wave B here, and wave C here. So yeah, we'll look for that wave 4 rally, the same, you know, and look for this wave 5 down. And it's good when it drops below the level and then makes an effort to get back up there, because then the market's proving to you that it's strong, you know. So it's a whole lot of proof of works, so to speak, using crypto language. Rightio. Oh, yes, the US dollar index, and the Australian dollar as well, sorry. So I think we might just go to the Aussie dollar first. Let me just... So I should look at this on the tick chart. So I have a position here myself. It's only really small. It's embarrassingly small, so I'm not going to show you. But the blue line is the entry. So I got in like really late with all of this. And my stop is, this is my stop, this dotted line through here. So I'll probably add to it if I get time to look at it a bit more. But we were very clear on getting wave, this move here is definitely 5 waves, so we can definitely plant that in there, and that wave 2 there. We have moved the stop up from the entry that I gave you guys. It's definitely a case of not doing the same thing I'm doing, but anyway, I eventually got in. But yeah, so I'm not quite sure how to count this, but I think it was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, but I'm still not quite happy with that. So I'll do some work on the tick chart or on the weekend with all of this, and we'll nail it down a little bit better. But you know, if we're right here, then you know, if we're right, we'll be going up above, like as I've mentioned before, we'll be above the 80 with this. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be such a great journey. And if it's right, I mean, sometimes we just don't get them right, but sometimes we do get them right. So you've got to be in it to win it, and manage that risk. And, you know, you don't need to bring the wheelbarrow in and shovel it all in. Just put an amount in that's not going to bother you diddly squat, so to speak, you know. Anyway, the other side to this here is the US dollar index, and with the US dollar index on the 4-hour chart, we've got an ABC up to this wave 4, so we've been over that a lot, so I don't need to do that. And then we're looking down here for wave 1 here, so that's really like the Australian dollar upside down, and wave 2. So I used to put the wave 2 there, but I'm believing it's going in on that second there, and when on that second high, and not worrying about the spike. But that's debatable, because then I've got a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this, and then this wave, don't need this here now as well. Get rid of that. And then we were looking for a rally back for this wave 2 there. So that's sort of come in quite nicely. And then we've got this next little move down. So we're going from wave 1 here to 2 here, then down to 3, 4, 5 for the third wave down here. So you got that picture. So we need 5 waves between that wave 2 and this wave 3 here. So I'm just going to go to the 15-minute or maybe even the 5-minute, see how we can view this. So there's our wave 1 here and our wave 2 there. Looks like 5 waves in there, doesn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is a bit weird. But we have taken the low out here for that, unless there's some other thing that I'm missing. But anyway, what I want to point out here is just simple, is we're just looking for, from this top to this low, we're looking for our 50-60% retracement level there somewhere. So we'll see how that plays out. So that will be wave 1 here and wave 2 there. I'm not going to bother figuring that out, but it looks like 5 waves, so it's probably an A and a B and a C. Could even be, am I happy with that 5 wave structure there though? Yeah, it works. That's okay. I was just wondering if it's a wave 4 here. It could be, but anyway, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's actually trading this, are they? They're just like looking at it for commodities and trading, you know, trading the other main pairs. But let me know if you are trading it, because then I can sharpen it up a little bit. But anyway, that's the picture. So we've got 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So we should be picking up a bit of speed between this 2 and 3 here, because that will be the third, this green wave 2 here. The third of the third of the third. So it should move quite quickly through here, and it's letting go of 93. So 92 is the next one down here. So not much sort of stopping it at that point. So anyway, won't go into it any further than I need to at this stage. So yeah, that kind of covers it. So I'll leave it at that, and thanks for tuning in. Cheers.